Howdy everybody, it's Amy here from Amy Sparkly Diamond Painting and Cross Stitch. I have a cross stitch video here for you today. It's one I'm excited about. Been waiting on this for a little while. If you recognize the black package from other content creators out there that do cross stitch, this is a package, my first order from Wattobizz, which is a Canadian stamped cross stitch company. And Sandy is a one-person business. She lives in Canada and she does a lot of AI art and then works with companies to print them up into canvases. She also does customs. So if you want to do stamp cross stitch but don't like some of the licensing issues that come from the Chinese companies, you can try out Wattobizz, and she has so many images on there. For every image, if you go to the website, there are actually maybe 3 or 4 options within each one and just tons and tons of choices. So I held off for a little while ordering from them or from Sandy because some of the images aren't my style. So I had to kind of wait till I saw something that really appealed to me because they are a little more expensive. So these are not budget-friendly kits. I mean, they're affordable, but they're just not what you see with like the Spring and the Joy Sunday brands that are already out there. But you don't have to worry about any of the licensing issues. So ignore this. I've been having some carpal tunnel trouble since I've been doing so many crafts lately. So I thought I'd try one of these and see how it works. And I'm just wearing it today to see if it does any good here. But we're gonna check this out and see what we got. So it came in about 3 weeks. Now I did pay for this myself. Let me get rid of my address here. I guess I better not turn it over. But I did let Sandy know as part of the ordering that I did have a YouTube channel and there would be an unboxing of it. So I didn't keep that secret from her. And what I did is I picked out an image that I really liked and then asked her for the max color version. So there was a little bit of an upcharge, but she was really quick to answer. I just put a little message on the web page, which I will have linked down below. And she got back to me right away and sent me a little invoice with the added upcharge for the US shipping and also for the added extra colors for this one. So she does have standard colors and max colors that you can get for many designs. They're customizable in that sense, and you can even create your own images and send them to her to do a custom for. So we're gonna see what our first order is like here. Now I did find out about this company from Stitcherella's channel, Sinette, as well as Lovecraft Forever with Natalia. But I don't want to mess up anything here, but like I said, this was my own money. I did not do any affiliate anything on this, but I did like the idea of being able to buy a stamped cross stitch that wasn't stolen artwork or anything like that. So, whew, that's in there good. But I can see here the plastic cover now, so I think I can safely cut this out. There we go. So I believe she does include, oh, let me get that off before I keep talking. She does include a few extra goodies with her kits, especially I think if it's the first one you order. But look at this image. Isn't that beautiful? So a lot of her images are fantasy. They are like fantasy ladies of various types, fairies and stuff like that. But she does also have some nature themes. I saw some birds and some flowers and beaches, but a lot of her stuff is fantasy and is ladies. So that's why it took me a little while to find something that I was interested in. But let me get the glare off. So this did come in this bag here, clear plastic bag with a zipper here, so it can double as a project bag, and it has her logo on there, Ain't No Biz Like Wattobizz. She also does have some crochet patterns, some corner to corner crochet patterns and Tunisian crochet, so if you're into that, you might check that out. And I did see diamond paintings listed, although I didn't look through that. So this, we can get a better close-up here of the image. And the name of this one, I don't know if it's on here. It was Hummingbird lady, I think, because you see the hummingbird here, and then this fantasy castle in the background, and the water and everything. Highly, highly detailed. So that's why I went ahead and asked for the max color, which is 130 colors. So this is a 14 count, 40 by 80 centimeters. So here's how the packaging comes. Let's see, and you can already get a feel there for what it is like. It's printed a lot more like the Fairy brand and some of the other more premium companies out there for the stamp cross stitch. So the symbols and everything are the higher quality symbols there. I can see that already, but let's get into this and see what we got. And get the plastic sound out of the way. So we do have the plastic thread holders. That's one thing I see right off the bat here. We have a toolkit, but we have all sorts of goodies in here that I could feel. Wow, we even have wax. So let's see what's in here. So our wax has melted a little bit. This is West Texas. It gets a little warm, but that's okay. There we go. So we have a thread ripper, and that's a pretty heavy plastic cover for it. Very nice. We have a needle trying to escape. I'm gonna put it in my diamond painting tray. And then we have the standard little thimble and the needle threader and my wax. It doesn't matter that it's melted just a bit here. We've had temperatures of 100 degrees last few days, but this doesn't matter at all because you can still use it to run your thread through just fine. I like that, but it's nice to see the wax show up in a kit. You've got some finger guards here, and I see a couple other, 3 other needles in there. I may have had one fall out. I thought I saw one fall out, but at least 4 needles. So I'm going to put those in a safe spot so I don't lose the needles. We have some clippers here, which help you cut very close to the end of the thread here. Oh, we have something to hold your needles here, but it's got a magnet in it, which is nice. And we have some more needles. That looks like the size that I prefer there. For 14 count, that looks like a 26, I think it is. Let's test here. Oh, very strong magnet there. So very nice extra goodies here. I bought another one of these before, but it didn't have a magnet in the bottom, and I thought, what's the point of a needle case if it doesn't have a magnet, which helps keep them from falling out. So that's nice. And it does have her logo on there. And then we got a hoop. So that's something unusual that you don't get typically in a kit. So very nice hoop here. And it's got a nice long screw so that you can, the stamped kits are often very starched. So you need a lot more give with the hoop to be able to secure stamped cross stitch in a hoop because of the ink printing. They have to starch them quite a bit. So that looks like a really nice hoop there that has a lot of room to be able to put the cross stitch in. So let's keep going. I think there is going to be a needle in there. Maybe not. Maybe I caught it. Okay. So we do have the plastic thread holders, which is really, really nice here. But first, let's look at our canvas. Well, actually, nope, there's the needle. Okay, I knew I'd lost one. Let's start with the pattern here. So we do have a pattern that is stapled into a book here. It is printed on the very glossy, thick paper, and you can see here all of the colors here. They go to 92, I think that's a standard, and then for this one, and then these are all blended colors here, all the way through 130. And blended colors are actually nice. I'm an old Teresa Wentzler fan from years ago, and she did a lot of blended colors. They really help do shading because you can blend from one color to the next in between to make it less harsh. So for example, this 152, 223, you can have this symbol between, say, 152 and then another spot that's 223, and when you blend them together it gives a smooth transition from one to another. Really good with like florals and plants and things like that. But here is how the pattern is broken up. So it looks like 12 pages, and hopefully here you can get a really close-up view of how beautiful this one is. So we've got this really neat, it looks more like a steampunk type futuristic village here. Lots and lots of detail. That's why part of the reason I picked this one is I wanted to see how much detail would come out, but it definitely needed a max color to really make that show. So her hair is almost like a stained glass hair, and then we've got the hummingbird and then the water here in the foreground. So I'm not going to show all the symbols, but this is how the chart looks. So it starts right off the bat with the chart, and then I see no back stitch in it and at all. This is a full coverage cross stitch without any back stitch, so you could diamond paint this as well. So with this particular chart, and I believe she also sells a lot of her patterns as PDFs, so if you wanted to do a counted diamond painting, you could do that. Download the PDF just like Heaven and Earth Designs and have a blank canvas and do the diamond painting, because they are all DMC colors. Now you'd probably want a standard color instead of the max color because you can't really blend with diamond painting. So that is one of the positive things about cross stitch that you can do that you can't do with diamond painting. So I don't want to show the chart here, but I'm looking at it. We'll look at the corner here, and it looks like the printing is the same as the symbols on the canvas, and it looks very, very clear. So all you have to do, all you would need to do is just keep this by you to help you see what the symbols are and what colors they are, and you don't have to go into the pattern unless maybe you got part of your canvas wet. So this ink will wash off, so you don't want to get it wet till you're done, but you don't really need the chart part if you've never done stamped cross stitch before. It's just there as a reference. So this is a tall one here. Oops, and it's upside down. Let's try that again. There we go. So here you have the coding for that one, STA1079. And let's take a look. We've got a nice long key here on the side, and it looks pretty clear. I can read it. There are a couple symbols here that look very pale, but I can use the chart for that. So it's doubled here, and look at that, 2 more needles. So what you can do, if you like to have your key by itself here, you can cut along this line, because this key and this key are the same here. So you can cut this one out here, and it goes all the way down to color 130 there. So you can cut this out and have a separate key available to you if you want to do that and just completely not need that paper pattern. So let's see what we got here. Now, one of the tricky parts with cross stitch with people is getting the skin tones and skin colors correct, but I kind of held off a little bit till I could see some other ones done on some of the Facebook groups and the YouTube channels, and I was very happy with what I saw with the face shading of the skin and everything. However, I did pick one where the colors were not supposed to be natural colors there. So you see the purple here in the shading of her face. So it's not really supposed to be natural shading. So I believe this will come out very well because I can see her eyes there. I mean, you don't know till you do it, but I can see a lot of detail there in her eyes. Here's her nose and her mouth. But I was also curious about the background, how much detail there would be. And it's hard to tell right now. Very, very hard to tell. But with 220 stitches, long by 440 stitches that way on a 14 count. There should be a sufficient amount of detail and colors to make this image come out, but you really don't know till you try. But one thing you will notice right off the bat is the amount of confetti on this, and that's what you would expect with any of these images. So if you're not a fan of confetti, these may not be for you. You might want to pick something more simple, which she does have some more simple ones. I avoided those because I wanted the high detail. I really wanted to test this out with a lot of detail on there. So some of the background here looks pretty easy, a nice easy start. I might stop in the top left corner and maybe work diagonals, or sometimes I work 4 or 6 square sections. I'll do like a 2-row, like 20, and just go across like that. There are so many ways you can do it. This one might also be good for thread parking, which I may do a second video with this once I get it going and show you what I'm talking about. But I could work like this 10 by 10 square doing this symbol, this green diagonal line here. And then once I get to here, I can park over here and just leave the thread hanging and finish the other colors in that square, and then pick up the colors and do this one and this one. Or you can go down, you can go diagonal. There are so many options for this. It all depends on how you like to work. Now, cross country is where you take a color and just work it wherever you see it, and that's another option as well. There are no rules. Just put X's on the little squares. And make sure that your top stitch on the X always goes the same direction. So I always work starting bottom left to top right, and then my top goes bottom right to top left. So always make sure that second leg of your X always goes in the same direction, and that'll keep your stitches looking neat. So I'm really excited to see how this is going to come out, because this is the first time that I've done one from this company. So let's take a look here at the thread colors, and you can see overall here, just looking at the colors, quite a variety of colors, but it is a little bit darker. So there are a lot of dark colors in this. And against the white, you want to use 2 strands, of course, for 14 count. But sometimes for the really, really dark, I'll add an extra strand if it doesn't look like it's covering the fabric well enough. So I do keep a full set of DMC floss so that if I need to add a little extra, that's okay. I can do that. So let's see here. This is the first one. And we do have the same matching number there that matches the canvas in case they somehow get separated. I've had that happen lately where I've gotten a couple floss cards lost. So be careful with those. I see the sticker on this one. I may go ahead and use my Sharpie to label all of them. Although with these plastic ones, I think it'll be pretty clear which kit these go to. But we're starting here with color 1 here on the edge, and we go all the way. This is colors 1 through 37. We've got a lot of that brown, several browns in there, and then little bits of some of these yellows and greens, lots and lots of different blue shades, and some purples in there. And then here we have 38 through 74. And even just little bits. That's a very, very neon green there. That's going to be kind of cool. I love this dark hot pink color. Not sure what you'd call that. That's probably here 934, 35, 36. I recognize those colors of blue, kind of that dusty blue. So lots and lots of blues in there. And then this is what I was curious about. Okay. So I ran into this with one of the other brands, but I didn't notice it at the time of the unboxing, but now I look for it, is how blends are handled by different companies. So we start here with the blends at color 93, and I can tell because there are 2 different colors of floss in there. So you don't have to go to these other, like 1 through 93, and make your own blends by pulling them from 2 different spots and putting them together. The blends are put together here for you. So like this one, 95, there are 2 different colors of gray. 96. So you can just go to, say, 115 if that's the next color. So you can go to 115 and find that those are 2 dark ones, but I can see the difference there, and find that your 2 blend colors are already there waiting for you. So you just take one of each thread and put it back. So the blends are created for you. That's a lot of brown there, which is very, very nice. So I do like that feature. I didn't notice that until I started working on one of the kits that I got from Dream Stitch. I think the brand was Xiaobai, and they did that. They put the blends together like this. So very, very nice to have it done that way. So all the way through color 130 there. So blends are really easy. You just take one of each thread and put them together, since this is 14 count, and work with it that way and let the colors kind of do their thing. Now the one downside though of blends is that you can't really do the loop start because you've got one thread of each color. There are ways to do it, but it's better to just tuck it into other stitches that you've already done on the back to secure it, rather than trying pretty convoluted ways to do the loop start with single threads. There are videos out there. It is possible. To me, it's just more difficult and takes a little more time than just tucking under from the back. So those are all the colors, lots of grays, blues, purples. It's actually a pretty big variety of different colors. There's some pretty greens there with that yellow. So this should be interesting, but it's obviously going to take a long time. So these kits don't go quickly. But check out Wattobizz and see what you think. Just the website is a little tricky to navigate at first. It took me a little bit to figure it out. And when you see a design you like, it'll say like options, and you click on it and see that there are other images that are somewhat related to that one in there as well. So if you see like a butterfly that you like and then click, you might find there are actually 4 or 5 iterations of somewhat the same picture, so you can pick which one you like the better, and then that you like better, and then choose the count that you want. So the size seems to be the same, so 11 count of a, say, 40 by 60 versus a 14 count of 40 by 60. The 14 count will obviously give you more details because you have more squares per inch. So that's why I chose 14 count instead of 11 count. And then you can choose whether you want standard or max color. And if you have any questions, email Sandy. She was very quick to respond and help me out with turning this into a max color and sending me that little invoice and everything. But this feels definitely like a premium experience, so you will pay just a little bit more than the budget friendlies, but it is created for exactly what you want. And I love the very nice printing of the book here. Love these floss deals. So if I ever finish this, I can use these for other patterns as well. And all the extra goodies here with the hoop, and there's my needle that escaped. I'll get it into the case here so it doesn't wander far, but we got needle case, tons and tons of needles here. And then the clippers, and the stitch ripper, and the wax, and the finger guides here. So all sorts of extra goodies that come with this kit to make it feel like it's a really neat experience. And if you're new to cross stitch, this would be a tough design with all the confetti, but with all the goodies that you get, you could start out with just one of these. If you wanted to try a max color for the first time, then this may be a way to go. So check it out and see what you think. And this is coming from a Canadian company supporting a local business, a small business, single person business. So I'm ready to start on this, and let me get these 2 needles too. Lots and lots of needles, which is good because I've been dropping a few needles lately from where I sit. My little recliner on the couch has some space. It has a little table, but I keep knocking the needles off the table into the space, which goes down to the floor. So I'm going through more needles than I ever thought I would. So this is nice and handy, and I love that the blends are done together here. Really, really nice, and I can't wait to start this one if I can get my hand to behave. So thank you for watching, and check it out if you have any questions. I don't have affiliate codes or anything. This was just my own purchase, but there are affiliate codes out there, so check out Lovecraft Forever or Stitcherella, and you can see a lot of Wattobizz stuff on there. And Callie Jenny is another one that I watch that's been doing Wattobizz lately. So I thought, well, let me jump on the Wattobizz train and see what it's all about. So it does feel like a premium experience here, a lot like Dream Stitch with all these extra goodies. So thank you, Sandy. I can't wait to get started on this one, and I'll give you an update somewhere in the future. I need to do a floss tube. Actually, it'll be probably 2 videos. I thought about doing a floss tube update on my works in progress that I've already started. I have several that I haven't started. I wouldn't count those, but do a works in progress and do one for counted cross stitch and then a separate one for the stamped cross stitch, and show where I am on some of these, because I have been working on several. I keep a few on the coffee table right in front of the TV, and I just grab different ones depending on what I feel like dealing with. So high confetti takes a little more work and a little more switching colors. So if I'm in a mood to do details and high color counts and switching, I will work on those. But if I feel like just doing relaxing stitches, I've got some of my ancient Chinese scroll reproductions and a couple of those that are just a lot of color stitching of the same color that's real simple to do. So those are my chill days that I do that. So I keep several different ones going depending on what I feel like doing. So check it out. I'm going to cut my key loose here and get started on this, and I'll be back with an update at some point. Not in the very near future, but it'll take me a little bit to get going on this, but I'll let you know. So thank you for watching, and if you like my content, go ahead and please click the like or subscribe buttons. They really do help grow the channel and help me out so I can get more goodies that I can share with you. And if there's something, a company or something you want to see that you're curious about, let me know and I'll check it out and see what I can do for you. So thanks for watching, and thank you, Sandy, for a really cool cross stitch kit.